Good afternoon and welcome to Scottish Car Enthusiasts TV, and in this video it's just a short wee vlog, just wishing you a Merry Christmas for when it comes, and the result of my MOT test. So yesterday was the MOT test for the Qashqai. Now my Qashqai is a 2008 J10 Qashqai, so it's the first generation before the facelift. So that makes it 12 years old. I just turned 12 not that long ago, and you're always that little bit skeptical about putting it through an MOT when it's 12 years old, in case there's any major rot underneath, and other things that might flag up on it. So you've seen in previous videos that I've bought tyres for the car, and I've got down and dirty painting the front and rear subframes on the car, just to get the preparation for the MOT. So all in all, I've probably spent about between £200 and £300 tyres alone, and getting the sump guard paint, buying ramps for the car to prepare it for its MOT. And went in for its MOT yesterday, and it was a long, anxious wait. I'd basically set up the MOT checker up on my laptop, and I was checking it every 10-15 minutes going, come on, tell me the result, tell me the result. And I got a result about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and that is, I have a ticket for another year's motoring on the Qashqai. So I'm really relieved at that. It passed with a couple of defects, which I'm going to have to, in the new year, replace, which is an anti-roll bar linkage ball joint dust cover was deteriorated, and a suspension arm ball joint dust cover severely deteriorated as well. So I'm going to be booking that into my local independent Renault Nissan specialist, and I'll get that sorted in the new year at some point. I've also been told just to monitor and repair if necessary. Excuse me, that the coil spring on the near side rear is corroded, and I knew about this, but my brake discs at the rear were pitted and scored, but we're not seriously weakened, and that'll be a job again in the new year that I'll replace the brake discs on the rear, or possibly just uprate the whole lot, and give it a fresh set of stoppers all round in the new year. But I'm really pleased at that. The car went in for its, after its MOT, it went in for its service, and what was picked up on that, it wasn't picked up in MOT, was that the alternator belt was severely perished, and that was replaced as well with a brand new belt. So that would explain the squeaking on the car when it starts up. If it's damp or cold, or if it's been raining, it makes a real squealing noise in the morning. And when you switch it on, the belt must be damp, and it's just slipping a wee bit. So I'm really pleased it's got a new belt. I hadn't planned for a new belt, but it fell within the budget of the car service and MOT price, so I just go with it. I think it was maybe £20 over or something like that. What I was meant to have been paying, and I just went, go for it, because I know that I'll probably not have to replace that in my lifetime of the car, I don't think. So the car's currently only got 70,500 miles on the clock. and it still drives like it drives a dream. Drives like a dream. I've not had any issues apart from the clutch on the car, so I'm really pleased at that. Having to buy a new clutch and just an alternator belt, and just wear and tear parts, like I've uprated bulbs. I didn't need to, but I've done it because I prefer to have uprated bulbs. I've mentioned this in previous videos. The headlights on the Qashqai standard from the factory, it just look like candles. That's how bad they are. So they were uprated with Osram night breakers. So it's just really been wear and tear items. I mean, the tyres. Because I know I'm going to be keeping this car for another, I would say another couple of years at least, or maybe more. I've spent some money on some decent tyres as well, so because so all four tyres have been replaced. One's were in a budget on one side, but the rest are all Nanking tyres. I've spent a wee bit of money doing that, and just as I said, getting the front subframes painted as well and wax oiled underneath, and that'll be another job again come next October. I'll be back under the car again, just doing the same thing again, just getting it ready for winter, protecting it. So that's just a wee update on the car. Scotland's going back into another lockdown from Boxing Day, so I don't envisage this car moving too much, so I'm going to just follow my video's advice from a wee while ago about looking after your car in lockdown, and just basically putting the car, just checking on the car every so often, turning it over, because I don't envisage it moving or travelling too far, because from Boxing Day Scotland will be on a lockdown. So that's that with the Qashqai. The next major expense, well, it's actually been paid, is a Skoda. Fabia goes in for its MOT in January, for its first MOT, so I don't envisage any problems on the Fabia, but you never know. So I'm just going to I'll just do what I did before, just make sure the car's roadworthy and legal, and get ready for its MOT at the start of the year. And I shall probably do a follow-up video on that as well, on that, getting what it's been like to own a Fabia for 3 years, because it's the longest I've had a car since my first car, which was back in 2001. I had that till 2004. So I'll tell you what I'll just do is I'll do a video on how much it's cost me over 3 years to run, to insure, sort of thing. And I don't think I've actually done a wee road test on the Fabia, so there may be a little road test chucked in as well. It goes for a drive, sort of thing. But that's all the car news at the moment. So all it just leaves me to say is thank you very much for watching the videos over the past year. I'm not sure if there'll be any more videos uploaded. Just bear with me. I just got called away there. My daughter just made pizza, homemade pizza, and she was just wanting to show me her homemade pizza. As I was saying, I'd just like to thank you for watching the channel this year. I don't know if I'll have any more videos going up before the new year. So as I said, I'd just like to thank you for watching my videos over the past year. And I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I haven't uploaded a video before then. And hopefully 2021 will be a lot better than this year. So all this leaves me to say now is thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe at Scottish Car Enthusiasts TV. Please also feel free to like our Facebook page and our Instagram page. And hopefully in 2021 we'll have some car meets to go to. I shall be continuing the reviews, car reviews. I'm not sure what I'm going to be test driving next, but whatever it is, it'll be on this channel. So yeah, get liking that like button. Feel free to share, and don't forget to subscribe. And I shall catch you in a future video. Farewell. Hello and welcome to Scottish Car Enthusiasts, and I thought I'd give a review on 1 year's ownership with the Nissan Qashqai and some of the modifications that I've carried out on the Qashqai. So I picked this car up in February 2020 with 67,100 miles on the clock, and in the past year I have covered, wait for it, 3,700 miles. This is partly due to lockdown in 2020 and again in 2021. So I'm going to reflect over the last year. So February 2020, I first bought the car. First thing I bought for this car was a windscreen washer cap. Now I'm going to show you why. So I'm just going to put you in the mount for the time being. I shall be back in a minute or two. So, this is the windscreen washer cap for the Nissan Qashqai, and I only had the car a few days, and I was filling up the screen wash cap, and I was filling up the screen wash, and the cap somehow accidentally fell into the engine bay, into the depths of the engine bay. So I ended up purchasing one or two off eBay, and I found on drives, when I came to next top up my screen wash, I would find that the screen wash cap was missing again. So I ended up purchasing this one from the scrapyard, and what it is you've got to buy one with these sort of bendy cable type things, so it goes into the screen wash bottle and then it clips into place. So my recommendation is, if you are looking for them, look for genuine Nissan screen wash caps with the bendy sort of cabley pole. And the next thing I carried out in this car was that I put my private plates on the car, and I also put in the number plates around. So yeah. So in March 2020 I had a good proper weekend of driving to St Abbs and over to Fife, and the car never missed a beat. And this was just a week before lockdown, and the car performed excellently. And I also at the time fitted the bonnet bra, as you can see there, to the Qashqai. Nothing really much happened in April. The car now covered 700 miles in April, and lockdown was in full flow. So the next modification was in May 2020. So first thing I fitted was the dildo gear lever, which involved a hacksaw, a second-hand gear lever and the linkage. So I could see how it all came apart, because from previous experience, when I had a Nissan before, a K12 Micra, the gear lever wouldn't come off, because I'd been given a gear lever before as a Christmas present, and it was found that the gear lever was bonded on. Now this dildo gear lever came from my K11 Micra that I had, and I thought it'd be quite a nice addition because I didn't like the feel of the standard Nissan gear lever. So as I said, it involved a second-hand gear lever, the linkage, a hacksaw, and to see how it all came off, it's basically brute force and ignorance springs to mind. So yep, and I also fitted the Team Hiko wind deflectors. Now I've had them on every car that I've owned since 2014, and I think they're a nice subtle addition to the car. And one of the common problems on the Qashqai is this boot surround comes off in your hand, which happened in May, and that involved super gluing it back into place. That wasn't the greatest job ever. Just looking for my notes tonight. So, June 2020, plastered up the front badge at the front. I'll show you that. Like so. So, I'm still in where two minds were to plaster dip this silver surround, but I think it just breaks up silver a wee bit. And it was also my biggest expense with the Qashqai, as I had to get a new clutch. Is that right, clutch? Yeah, the clutch started slipping on the car. So I ended up having to buy a new clutch. Started off, it wasn't too bad, but it just started getting worse and worse and worse. And by that time I'd only covered about 1,000 miles in the car, so I thought I may as well just pay the money out, and the price wasn't too bad from an independent, so I ended up just getting a new clutch. July, I made the rear stand out with this car just by putting on a chrome tailpipe finisher, and I fitted a Piper Cross air filter in the engine bay. And I also fitted, going into the car, I also fitted the Audi style repeaters. It seems to be the big craze now. Again, I got them on eBay and they weren't a perfect fit, so I ended up super gluing them to the wing. So that's that one. So that was July. Yeah, that was July. Wasn't much happened in July. August, I basically painted the brake caliper silver, as you can see, and I had to replace this tyre at the same time as well because I got a puncture in it. I found out when I was painting the calipers, and it got its most striking visual modification to the car. Coming back a wee bit, the BTC style side stripes and the Sad Boy boards. My plan is with this car, when the better weather comes in, is to get the graphics finally finished. People have said that the driver's door and the passenger door seems a bit bare, and thinking about it, yeah, and I also just want to try and replicate the BTC Primera graphics on the bonnet with Vodafone. So that was August. October, the car went on a family holiday. Because it hadn't really been used much during lockdown, I thought I quite fancy just taking it on holiday. So that, it done the job, it performed well on holiday. Next major expense on the car was 2 front tyres. The Nexons that were on the front were wearing quite thin, so I ended up buying Nanking tyres. And at that time the car clicked over to 70,000 miles. So just under 3,000 a here. November was the next visual modification, and I quite like this one. Is my, come take you round. Is the twin exhaust system. I bought this early in October. It was an absolute bargain. This was about £100. This sort of system on eBay alone was going for between 150, 160 quid. And I bought it off a guy on the Qashqai page. And basically I think it came off a 2 litre DCI Qashqai, but they managed to make it fit. The garage that I took it to. It's not a loud system, so it's neighbour friendly, and I spent an afternoon and a morning and an afternoon undersealing the subframes on this car, because subframes on the Qashqai are quite crap and are prone to failing with the rust. December 2020, another expensive month. Had to get another new tyre, and I had the service and MOT carried out, and the car passed its MOT with 2 advisories, and they'll be getting fixed in the coming year. They're not major advisories, but I'm just going to get them fixed just for peace of mind. So January, February, I've just really spent time having fun in the snow. It's only a 2-wheel drive, and it coped really well. The only thing it never coped with was sheet ice on an undisclosed stately home driveway. Trying to get up a hill took me the best part of half an hour. But we got there in the end. So I'm just going to move into the car now, because this is a bit... I don't really want to tell you how much I've spent on it, but we are going to tell you how much I've spent on it. So, how much did I spend on the Qashqai? In a year, the Qashqai has cost me £3,288 to fuel, modify, tax, insure, consumables like tyres and exhausts, clutch. But it's actually a car that I'm enjoying, and I actually see this one as a keeper. You have to work it hard to make it to go anywhere, but once it's on, once you work it hard, it's a really enjoyable car to drive. It's a nice wee town-to-town car as well. It's well built. This era in Nissan is Renault-y type quality. I would say, I believe that the clutch is possibly Renault. That's, as I said, I had to replace that. That's probably a weak point in this car, is the clutch. I believe that's Renault. But it's well built. It's economical for a 1.6. Mainly my journeys now are just like hopping around the town, so I'm getting about 31 to the gallon on the 1.6 petrol. Longer trips I'm doing about 40 miles to the gallon. Sort of combined, you're doing between 36, 37 miles to the gallon. So I like this car because these seats here, they're quite comfy. My wife has said that she really likes this car because it's quite comfy. So I quite like that. As I said, I quite like it. It's well built. There's some cheapy plastic here. Nice leathery type plastic here. This is cheap. Apart from that, it's well built. I actually like, this is the funny thing, I'll show you this. Come back at the car again. I actually prefer this squarer face on the Qashqai. I know that the Qashqai J10 got facelifted about 2010. A sort of curvier front grille. I actually quite like the squarer grille, and you actually don't see too many of the squarer grilled ones now, so I quite like that. As I said, I do really enjoy driving this car. Once you get the car in song, it is a blast. I mean, I was out in it the other night. I went down to sort of Dalkeith area, and the car was 3 bits of straight road with around 3 roundabouts breaking them up. And once you got on song, it was flying. And I really like that about the Qashqai. So once you get on song, it's a really great car to drive. It does handle well. Push it too hard and you do feel the roll in the bends. You do know it's you're in a higher up vehicle, but you can still push it. So, what do I not like in this car? Well, one of the things I don't like is the creaky steering. You'll not hear it, but on a cold day, the steering sometimes creaks. And that again is a common Qashqai problem. I've heard stories from that since the launch. I don't like the driver's door because it's either dropped. There's the passenger door there. There's the driver's door, and it's dropped. So it's fine at the moment, but what happens is also sometimes when you're driving along, the interior light comes on, the car starts to beep, and the door light flashes on, and it's this latch here. Works itself loose, and the door's shaking off this panel there. So that's that. I don't like that, and I also don't like. Hold on. I also find a boot lid is quite low. Now I'm just under 6 foot, and if you walk under it, that's me hitting the side of it now. So you could be in the car, you could come up, you could be in the car in the boot and hit your head off the boot. So that's another thing. That's one of the other things I don't like in the Qashqai. So to sum up, it's been a crazy first year owning this car. I would have loved to have driven it more, considering the amount of money I've spent on it, spending on the clutch and the tyres and like. But I do really understand why people buy these cars. This car started of a new generation of crossover SUVs. I mean, it's got too popular now, but I understand why people bought into this car, because Nissan years ago, this is a cross between, you say this replaced the Turismo 2 and the Almera, and you can see why people bought into it, because the Almera was an underrated car. It was bland styling wise, and this was like a breath of fresh air to the market. So I understand why people bought into it. I looked at one of these back in 2015, but when we were looking at getting a car, a bigger family car to replace our Focus, but it was deemed we needed an estate. But as I said, I think this car is a keeper on the fleet, and I want to update this head unit. I'm a dinosaur, I do like my 6-disc changer, but I keep looking at these touchscreen ones, and I really like the look of the touchscreen. And you can get ones that takes the whole complete facelift for about 190 quid. So you get the facelift and the head unit. So I'm looking into that at the minute, and I want to update that, and I also want to finish off my graphics on the car. And I really want to show this car off. I mean, the Qashqai is still an underrated car in the modifying scene, but it's a very capable car, and I quite like how I've broken this car up. Just with the graphics, it makes it stand out from other Qashqais on the road. Now our job is, I do want to get these alloys redone in time. They are corroding, they've been like that for years, so get that done as well. But I just thought I'd film a quick wee video of ownership of my Qashqai for a year. As I said, I think this car is going to be a keeper on the fleet. I can't see myself changing it anytime soon, and I'm looking forward to putting some more miles in this car and maybe coming back in a year's time and looking at how it's doing then. But for the moment, I'd just like to thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe at Scottish Car Enthusiasts TV, and I shall catch you in a future video. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our Facebook pages and our Instagram pages. But please, please, please hit that like button, give the channel a share, and we'll catch you in a future video. Thank you.